Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be with you again. Nice to see you all out there. And I hope that you hear something that helps you today, okay? I want to talk about retirement costs, and I'm going to talk a little bit about taxes. There are some good news in the taxes this year in terms of the extension up to 73 years old for required minimum distributions. There's a few things like that. Before we go any further, here's my ad for the day. We have a 25% bonus on one of our private retirement plans. So if you want to talk about this, just give me a call. 410-902-046. Mike Newmeyer here to help you. Okay? So that's the first thing. All right. Requirement distributions now 73 instead of 72. Good thing. Another thing about that is if you make a mistake and you don't take your requirement distributions according to the rules, the penalty has been reduced from 50% to 25%. Now, let me give you this disclaimer. I am not a tax person. The things I'm talking about are generalities, and these things are publicly known. But you should talk to a tax person, before you take anything and actually rely on it. Okay, so having said that disclaimer, so the RMDs, that's a good thing. But here are some areas that you should be also thinking about. So taxes are going to increase. How much they're actually going to increase in the future, I don't know, but we already have inflation exceeding 5%. So basically your taxes, inflation is a tax. It hurts the people at the bottom the worst, the people with less money the worst, because everything that is inflated at the grocery store and the gas station they're buying, they have to buy. So inflation is certainly needs to come down, and unfortunately the solution is as painful as the problem itself, because obviously the Fed has kept raising the rates until now we're at a point where they may pause next week. They may not take another increase. That may happen. I'm saying it's probably 75% chance they won't, 25% chance they will, but they undoubtedly, they may pause for a month and they may come back the following month. It's hard to say, but they want to reduce inflation down to 2%. I don't think it's possible anyway. I don't think they'll be able to do that. I think that economy, if it recovers, when it recovers, it's hard to recover with these terribly big spending bills that they've been passing. It's going to take almost miracles, to get the inflation down to 2%. But anyway, so we're going to live with inflation for a while, and we're not going to get the value from the money spent. That's the worst part. The money that's being spent in these bills are not going to help the average American. Too much of the money that we're spending is going to go take care of the immigrants that are coming across the border, something like 7 million so far. A lot of the money is going to be spent on things that you and I would not probably care that much about, okay? We love all people, including the immigrants, but we can't afford what we're doing, and we're continuing to do it, and we are going to pay the price. Okay. What about other cost increases? If the Green New Deal keeps moving forward, lots of new expenses. Energy is going to cost a lot more. If we transition back to atomic power, to nuclear power, that is in general a good thing, but it takes a lot of fossil fuel to produce the nuclear power. And that's the thing that most people don't really understand is you have to spend a lot of money and a lot of effort with fossil fuel in order to produce the power in the nuclear plants. Okay, but in the end, it's probably more beneficial and sustainable than what we're doing now. So unless we open up the spigots and start pumping oil like we were before, we have a long-term energy problem in the United States. And as we go, so does the world. The world has the same problems we have. There's very few places in the world that are doing a lot better than we are, unless they're selling a lot of oil, like the Arab states and so forth and so on. That of course, is true. Anyway, moving along. Transportation, electric cars. Electric cars are going to cost more than gasoline engines, probably for a long time. And unless they rig the rules in such a manner that gas-powered cars actually cost more than electric. I don't see that happening too soon. And the efficiency is not there on the electric side yet because we don't have the charging stations. If you double the number of electric cars in the United States, they'd be parked because they wouldn't be able to get enough charging to use them that much. So that's essentially where that is. Okay, in the charging stations, where are they going to have charging stations at nursing homes? Are they going to have charging stations at home for older people? I mean, where are they going to have charging stations at apartment buildings? Are they going to have charging stations at condominium buildings? Are they going to have them at shopping centers? On and on and on and on. Just think about, how much work has got to go into infrastructure in order to support electric cars on a mass scale. That's a lot of work ahead of us to do those kinds of things, and a lot of expense. Who's going to pay for it all? Who's going to pay for it all? No matter who pays for it, we pay for it, right? If the companies that build the cars pay for it, then we pay for it in the price of the cars. If the government pays for it, we pay for it with taxes. We pay for it. That's all there is to it. We pay for it. And if they grind the gasoline cars into the ground, then gasoline's going to cost us a lot more, and the upkeep on those cars are going to be a great deal. Think about cigarettes. I remember a long time ago when cigarettes sold for a quarter, for 50 cents, for $1, and now a package of cigarettes is like $10. Why do you think that is? That's because there's less smoking, there's less cigarettes sold. Those companies want to stay in business, so what do? They raise the prices. The same thing is going to happen with automobiles. Keeping your automobile up is going to cost more and more and more as less automobiles are on the streets. So we are facing a conundrum. And that's just the way it is. All right. Let's see. Airfares are going to go up. Airfare. I don't see electricity taking over airplanes too soon. Okay? Airfares are going to go for a lot of reasons. Demand is one. Aging population, retiring people that want to travel. So the cost is going to go up. Demand, supply. It's going to go up. Opportunity to make more profits. Airlines are going to raise their prices. And the same thing with hotels and all kinds of lodging facilities all over the world. Those costs are going to go up. You're going to retire and travel. What's it going to cost you? I don't think you're going to travel as much as you may have planned to travel. You're going to have to deal with a lot of these kinds of issues. Okay? Let's see what else. And even private business transportation, when you think about Uber or companies like that, okay, their costs are going to go up and your costs are going to go up. So if you're not driving and you're using one of those companies, your cost is still going to go up. So that's the way it is. Utilities will increase with the Green New Deal. Of course they will. Okay? No matter how many wind farms we have and so all those kinds of things, and no matter how many solar panels we put on houses, we're never going to have enough for a long, long time to bring the cost of energy down significantly. And remember, the reliability of wind, it just isn't there. If the wind works half the time, where does that leave the other half the time? Maybe it's not exaggeration, I don't know, but it's not a good thing. And the more we rely on that kind of, imagine if the military relies on green, okay? What happens then? Well, certainly we're going to get taken advantage of because China doesn't care about green. And they're our most forcible, and I'll use the word enemy. They want to dominate the world. They're not going to play along with the green thing. And that their pollution represents more than half the pollution in the world, they and Russia together. And they're not going to change. They're going to take advantage of our idealism with regards to green. And no matter how good it is, they're going to take advantage of it. So you're not going to see pollution, CO2 and so forth, decrease a great deal as long as they remain the way they are. Okay. But utility costs are going to keep going up. How many people in retirement can afford their BG&E bill here in Baltimore County to double? Okay, how many? This is a problem. Now, if you're using alternative, if you can find ways to use alternative to supplement and reduce, it's going to take an investment to do that. There's a lot of folks that are doing that, but that's not without an expense. So you have to manage all those questions and do a lot of research before you make decisions to do things. The cost in retirement, basically living in retirement, is not probably going to go down for most people. It's probably going to be about the same as it was before retirement. So where's the money going to come from? Social Security? Where's it going to come from? Is it going to come from a pension? Is it going to come from your rollover from your 401k? And incidentally, how did that 401k hold up during the market, volatility and so forth? It looked awful good some of the time, didn't it? But how about right now? That's another reason to think about these kinds of things, because you put money in these kinds of private pensions, you can't lose money. You're going to get lifetime income. I'll say it again. You cannot lose money. You're going to get lifetime income. A lot of folks are considering this kind of plan now. In fact, this has become the kind of go-to plan for retirement because you can't lose money. And people are concerned about that. They want to know that money will be there every month for the rest of their lives. That's what this is. Lifetime income for you and your spouse. Okay? Give me a call, 410-902-0464. Okay, there's that. Okay, again, another commercial. All right, medical costs. What about them? How about if you have to rely on remote medical costs, remote medical? You're looking at a screen, the doctor's looking at you, and you're sitting in a nursing home, or you're someplace. Maybe you're just at home, okay? Because you can't get to the doctor, or because there's no time available for you, because the demand on doctors is going to grow with aging population. And there's fewer people going into the medical world than there was before, for a whole lot of reasons. And the quality of the doctors that are going to come out is in question again because of all the things that are going on with woke, okay? Equal results. So you take people that are not as qualified and you give them the same results, they come out and they're practicing doctors or practicing lawyers or whatever they are, but the competency is the thing I'm worried about. Are they all as competent as they need to be? So if the bar keeps getting lowered, we're not going to get the kind of service we need as we get older. And as we get older and older, we're going to be less critical because we're not going to keep up with what's going on as well. And we're going to have to rely on maybe less than ideal medical care. So for sure, if you want good care, it's going to cost more anyway. And to be able to get care at all is going to cost more. And to get care at all means we're going to have to make a lot of compromises. So think about that. Think about medical rising along with housing. Housing's not going to get cheaper. And to stay in your home, if you've got stairs and you're getting older and you don't want to walk up those stairs and down and so forth and so on, you might get an elevator or one of these that attaches to the side of the rails or whatever. But you're going to have to modify and accommodate yourself in that situation, and you're going to have to find some help because home health care is what you want. You do not want to go to a nursing home. Go spend an hour in one if you can, and tell me if you want to stay there. Okay? Nobody wants to go to a nursing home. And incidentally, the nursing home costs are rising so fast in Maryland, most people couldn't afford it anyway. Now, keep in mind that Medicare gives you 20 days in a nursing home. 20 days. First 20 days, doctor signs a note after being in the hospital for 2 days. You can go in the nursing home for 20 days, okay? And you can repeat that. And I think the cutoff is after about 100 days total between those 20-day stays, or less than 20. Of course, and then you're on your own. And if you have long-term care insurance, you got that first 20, and then you got 70 days you got to finance yourself, and then the long-term care, typically that's when it kicks in. How many of you have long-term care insurance? I've been selling long-term care insurance for over 20 years, and I can tell you that probably 1 to 5% of the people that I've seen have long-term care insurance. It's expensive. And the older you are, the more expensive it is. So, I can help you with it. There's some plans that are good plans, but it's going to cost. It's going to cost. So you can talk to me about that also. You can talk to me about anything. You can call me on the telephone, 410-902-0464. And you can come in and I can help you budget. I can help you budget. I can help you organize your expenses and your income and priority-wise and so forth and so on. I can help you prepare for retirement. We call that retirement planning. It is planning. And I'm more than happy to do it, and I don't charge anything. And I like to help people. So if you call me, 410-902-0464, guarantee you that I will do my very best to help you.